Hello everyone, this is Cam.
And Dan.
And today we're going to be reviewing the Tomb Raider movie, the reboot based on the reboot that came out 2013. So this is the
based on other reboots.
Yeah, so this is the start from where obviously the 13 reboots all left off, and well, there wasn't a lot of people actually watching this film in our theatre.
No, there wasn't. It was a sizable theatre.
Yeah, there was. When we were the first ones who came in, and there was so much amounts of space. So at least we got good seats at least, but there was like only 4 people in the theatres. There was us 2, and then there was this woman and this guy and a daughter, I think. This film overall, you look at the tank top, you look at the poster there, as you can see, and it's got a very tint blue, and that sort of is supposed to give you a representation. It's going to pay tribute to the old series, but while embracing the reboot games. And it really doesn't do...
Tries to cross both lines.
Yeah, it did. I mean, there were some nice features it added from the old games.
Obviously, it was the reboot. It was it was mainly obviously focused on the reboot, but it did try to show hints from the original one.
I felt like that was a bad move to base it entirely on the reboot. Like, the setting is like the reboot style, but the bow and arrow makes a comeback in it and everything like that, so obviously they embrace a lot. And
I know this is sort of irrelevant to what we're talking about. But the guy out there, I can't remember his name, he was in an advert before the film started for Peter Rabbit.
Yeah.
Which I just thought was weird.
Yeah, you mentioned that, and I was thinking, because Alicia Vikander, she's starting only now to become a big star. And I think this film's sort of that big debut for her, really. I don't want to say Tomb Raider was what made Angelina, but it certainly put on the map even more. And I think Alicia Vikander is a lot better at playing Lara Croft than Angelina. Angelina didn't really care. I mean, she even admitted she didn't really care for the role, but Alicia, I actually felt like she really did embrace this. And this is what I was sort of curious about. Will they make a nod to past films? And they did, in a sense. There were 2 things I noticed in particular, not really spoilers, but you see in the trailers when she's jumping off a boat, she has the backpack. That's sort of reminiscent of that at least. And there was one where on that boat, when it was crashing, she did some monkey rails, which you do in the old games, sort of the first thing you kind of do, really, sort of climbing and stuff like that. And I think you do it in the first game, I can't remember. But either way, I felt like little stuff like that was like little nods to it, but I couldn't find anything else sort of relevant to the old games, except from like Croft Manor. There was no Winston, which I'm hoping Winston does appear. That was weird, actually, because I was taking this in as a reboot. He didn't even come into my mind until literally right now, just thinking about him, because Croft Manor it is the same, but it's not exactly the same. Like, it's embracing what the reboot did, is that Lara wasn't too interested in the manor. She was a bit more lone wolf. She wanted to do her own thing. We saw a bit of that in the beginning of the film. What did you think about that? Did you think the film started out good? Because I thought it was a bit slowish.
Yeah,
I
it was
don't know.
quite slow.
Like,
I don't know if I'd have preferred it just to go. I mean, obviously it was based off the reboot, so I don't know if it could have gone straight for it.
Because we'd never got that.
Obviously, I said this film needed to be like you'd never seen or heard of Tomb Raider before.
Yeah.
So it was just going fresh in, so it establishes where it is.
Because we were talking about this on the way back, like, it's not completely mediocre, but it's nothing surprising. This film really is not surprising.
Did what it set out to do.
Yeah.
Just create a fun film.
And it kind of, the actions were interesting, but the characters were a bit, not always there, but they did hit some mark. There were some surprises, actually, in terms of characters not dying. There were some characters I thought, okay.
I'll let you guess who that probably is.
Yeah, you thought, okay, so
it's really obvious, though.
Yeah, and there was one surprising thing, which we'll go about in spoilers. I guess this is spoilers in general, so if you want to go watch the film, go watch it.
Yeah, you should do that.
If you want a non-spoiler thing, it's decent. It sets out what it's meant to do, but it's nothing really surprising. Like, it gets this out of the way, so at least the sequels can deliver on
pretty much you've already made up your mind if you want to go see it or not.
Yeah.
You don't need us to tell you. If you want to go see it, go see it.
Yeah, and it's like one of
If you can, if it exists anywhere.
I mean, let's just dive straight into it then. The father
Everyone
of
dies.
This game. The father of this game, father of this game, sorry. Father of this film, Lara's father, Richard Croft, is believed to be dead like halfway through the film. And then she starts singing this sort of...
sort of towards the start of it, it's sort of like, there's still hope. She's still holding on to hope that it's dead. Isn't that the reason she doesn't accept the money?
Oh, wait, I think...
Isn't that because she won't sign it because she thinks it's still alive, maybe?
I thought she was just going to go out to find his sort of remains. Like, but then again, his remains were never, like, obviously found, so that may be what pushed her to go, okay, let's see if he actually is dead or not. And obviously, at the beginning of it, the villain, I can't remember his name because he was kind of forgettable in that sense, but he basically told her from the get-go that her father's dead. And
He killed him.
Yeah, that's sort of straight there, like straight to the point, yeah, I did it. And I don't know why he would have told her that. To not get her to go looking even more and just keep her as a slave on the island, maybe. But he was kind of wasted for that sense of... I can't remember the first reboot game like, on the top of my head in terms of like... I know a character called Roth, who Lara trusted throughout the game until he died or something. And I figured for the part of it, he would kind of try and sort of get on her side, you know, because it seems obvious that he would do that just because she is obviously Croft and that. And maybe he could find some way to...
They did try and get you to sympathise with the villain a little bit.
Yeah, with the daughters.
The daughters, so he's just like... He doesn't want to be a bad guy, it's just the way he is, because he just wants to get off this island as well.
But then again, it could have made you more sympathetic to him if he didn't start off as a bad guy straight away, but they just went straight to it. Like, he was a dick to her the moment she woke up. You know, straight away he was, like, in her face, you know, covering up her bag on, like, his leg and everything, so she wouldn't get it in that. And it's like, I know he's been on the island for 7 years, so he probably didn't really think straight and probably couldn't think of a better way to sort of handle it, but you would have thought he would have played it a little bit. But it wasn't long.
More manipulative.
Yeah, and it wasn't long until she escaped anyway. Like she got out of there pretty quick with Lu Ren, who assists her on getting to the island in the first place.
He survives plot twist.
Yeah, he survives. That was a plot twist because I thought he was going to leave, and he didn't really do much. The only part he did was let her leave the first time, and then when she came back to rescue him, he sort of rescued the people who were being...
It was really easy to convince to go to that island.
Yeah, I mean, he was drunk when we first meet him, and the whole sequence with those kids could have been cut out because that was boring as shit. Like when we were trying to steal her bag, like she could have just gone and found it, because there was so much stuff on the island part that should have been the main set piece of the entire film. And we've got like 20 minutes of like London and shit, and then we've got the next part which is supposed to be the island. But I feel like the island should have been extended far beyond, you know, most of the film. Really, and that's what the reboot does. It doesn't take long for you to get to the island because it doesn't want to bother you with all the pre-stuff.
Yeah, you pretty much start on the boat.
You pretty do. And you get that like 2-minute cutscene of her dialogue on, you know, where she's at in her life. Now all the characters are the same though from the reboot, so that's a good thing. Like, it doesn't borrow everything, which is a good thing, because I like the reboot game, it's gameplay wise, but the story was never there for me. You know, I never really liked that. I mean, it was decent, but it wasn't like the best origin story I've ever seen. But this one, that's why I had no expectations for this film, because it's like, I'll go watch it because I think it has potential, and I want to support this character, obviously, but it's like, I'm not setting myself up, you know what I mean? And I think I've learned that from films in future anyway, but I was just like, I just want this to be decent. And seeing reviews like IGN give it a 5.5, which it doesn't deserve.
No, I think it deserves 4.
I'm
joking, of course.
We were saying it deserves at least like a 7. If we were to rank it, I don't think you should rank it anyway, but if you had to, it'd be at least a 7.
Yeah.
Because
it didn't redefine the genre.
No.
It didn't.
It just set out what it was meant to do, and that was sort of it, and that's fine, you know, it wasn't extraordinary, but it was just sort of fun, and there were some moments which felt a bit, like, okay, that was just a massive sigh. And there was a moment I said to you, actually, I think it was when she kills for the first time. Oh, no, it's before she kills, where she's like, when she gets stabbed.
With that bit of wood.
Yeah, that bit of wood she got stabbed with. And then she goes sitting down.
Because there was something similar to that in the game.
Yeah.
It was a bit of metal. It went all the way through.
And that was at the beginning of the game, that was. This was like halfway through. So she kind of healed kind of quickly from that.
Well, healed very quickly, like it almost didn't happen.
Yeah, but the thing is, I said to you that the moment when it went to dark, and I was like, she's saving a game. This is the part where she saves her game and she waits until another day. But no, I think I was just talking about this before we went on to something else. But she, after she kills a guy for the first time, she sees this haggard man, like, and she goes chases after him. And who does it turn out to be? Her dad.
Obviously
it had to be her dad. And I wasn't really...
Which was sort of out of nowhere.
Maybe the film failed, or maybe I wasn't paying too much of attention, but I never got the feeling she was going on that island to find her father. I think she was just going to find answers. And because obviously she don't believe in it. She don't believe in all this hocus pocus stuff. And to be honest, the film kind of did an alright job on distinguishing that a little bit. It wasn't...
I like the idea that I expected it to be magical in some sort of way, some was supernatural, and it turns out to not be.
No, it was more like a disease, you know.
In all fairness, I actually like that, because I was genuinely expecting some paranormal shit.
Well, the only thing it kind of did, which wasn't really touched on, it was like just something that you expected to happen, but it was when they got back up afterwards. Like, they were like zombies in a sense.
Yeah, that sort of like...
That's what ruined it a little bit. Like, the visuals,
The acting,
obviously.
I thought the acting was pretty good.
For the most part, yeah. Some of it, Alicia, she did a very good job.
Yeah.
I mean, she screamed a lot. She reminded me a lot of Camilla Lullington. Like, I felt like Camilla Lullington was literally dubbing over her screams, because it felt like her from the game. Series, and yeah, she looks good. I think she looks good for the part. You know, I don't care what people say about her breast size or anything like that. Oh, it's, you know, they're not pointy enough or whatever, because people have generally been criticising that because of
Not
that.
pointy enough.
Yeah, like her boobs are not big enough as shit, and I'm like, that doesn't matter. I mean, I felt like she was Lara Croft. I mean, I know she's 29, man. She's playing like a 20-year-old a little bit.
Well, if you talk about the reboots, she looks pretty spot on.
Yeah, she looks exactly like her.
I mean, they weren't exaggerators in like obviously the previous games.
Yeah, but she nailed it, I think, and I really want to see more of her, because she does deserve this role, really. I think it was a good idea not having Camilla Lullington sort of attached to this film to make it sort of more distinct, because obviously the movies are going to go in a different direction, in the sequels at least, compared to the reboots, which I don't know what's going to happen in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, but I just hope there's no more parallels, you know what I mean? The only thing that should be connected is Anna now. Like, she's the only connection to the sequels of the rebooted games, and she's carried over to the films, so she's obviously, you know, gonna die. Anything sort of stand out to you in that film, man? What was the main sort of wow, that was kind of cool, epic? It's okay if it really isn't one. I felt a bit intense when we were trying to get that puzzle solved, when the floor was falling down.
Oh, yeah.
That was kind of a bit, you know, get this sorted quickly. I liked the part when she was like charging against them all with arrows and shit.
Obviously, like, killing one that's a few more negatives. I'm just a morbid bastard. Please excuse me. I didn't hate the film. I want to make that clear.
Yeah.
She kills the first guy, drowns him. Obviously, she's very emotional about that. She doesn't want to do it. I mean, that's very clear. We can see that on the screen.
Yeah.
Then, how does that transpire next?
Yeah, next she's just killing people and stuff, but then again, it kind of has you that thought of she's just trying to survive at this point. Like, she's felt it, she's dealt with it, and it is a bit too quick for her. You would have thought she'd have some daddy conversations about that, but then again, it's like the film.
Like, it's like never brought up. Like, it's a big thing.
If it was given an extra 15 minutes,
slowly murdered someone.
Yeah,
it's not like a quick arrow. She was literally slowly murdering someone. Another point. Lara's indestructible.
What do you mean?
Like, the scenes where she's just the plane scene where it's smashing around and she smashes through trees and shit, and I'm like,
she's a superhero.
At the worst, you'd be dead.
Yeah.
At the best, you'd be paralysed.
I mean,
it was the same thing in the games. She'd like slide down things. I think you'd lose half your skin.
That's the only thing I did not like about the rebooted games, was they were doing so much. Like, I didn't feel worried anymore, because she survived like one massive thing in the beginning of the game, and if she can survive this, then she can survive anything. Like, I no longer have any worry for this character, and I feel like the film has that same flaw as it. Like, I do not worry for this girl anymore, because she's just going to be fine. The only one thing I noticed, like, when the boat was actually sinking, like when it was crashing, I did say something. No, this was before, actually. This was when she went inside. There was a camera guy, like, literally stood in the room, like, before she went in. There was a camera guy stood right there holding the microphone, and I'm like, oh my god. Like, wow, I can't believe I actually noticed an error once in the film. But
was Lara an already established genius and badass?
No.
Considering she did things throughout the film that thinking, did she try? I mean, I know she obviously was a fighter, she trained for it, so that makes sense why she was good at fighting, but
yeah, one thing
like, she just seemed like puzzles.
Yeah.
She just seemed to instantly work out.
And she's not an archaeologist or anything like that. Like,
and I'm thinking, you're not established yet.
Yeah.
Like,
because she didn't go to Oxford, and that's
or
a big
Cambridge.
Yeah, that's a big.
And that was a scene.
Yeah, that actually annoyed me, because Lara, you know, in the beginning of it, at least, she did go to university, and I feel like if they had that first, like, say with her father gone, she did decide to go for all that education.
And then fuck it off.
Yeah, but then what, is she going to go to uni now, and then she's going to go after Trinity after? It's like, I don't know, yeah, because she figures stuff out instantly, and it kind of makes you go, really? She got that? I mean, maybe she was just looking at her father all these years and mimicking that.
The fighting made sense, because it established at the beginning of the film that she was a fighter.
That was a big part of the beginning part. Like, as long as she can punch, it's like, yeah, she can do well in the fight. But even she failed at the beginning of that fight.
Yeah, I suppose that one maybe...
Like, she still
she failed at that fight. I know when she was fighting that first guy she killed, that might have been
no motivation.
Sort of a reflection of she failed that time, but this time.
But it just made it seem like, okay, yeah, she's still halfway there. She's not completely fully trained. So I hope the sequel.
Probably didn't want to establish it as undefeatable.
Yeah. Like, as I say, I just hope the sequel can sort of do that in the beginning. Like, give us a montage of her actually training. Because she's going to go out and sort of stop training. She needs to train. She can't be, like, you know, I mean, I guess that's the sort of title of the film then. She is just surviving throughout the entire first film. Like, she's not trained or anything. She's just trying to survive in that. And maybe that's...
She's incredibly good at it.
Yeah.
Almost as if she was inadvertently training for this her entire life.
I don't know. I mean... It deserves a 7 at least. Like, it's got a lot of points off.
Yeah, I know I've said nothing but negatives.
Yeah, that's the point. It's a film that
they weren't like film destroying negatives. They were just sort of like
yeah.
I've got to question that indestructibility and just of figuring stuff out.
Like, she obviously. There's a lot that the film could have done better, but with the time frame, like, if they gave it like an extra 15 minutes and cut out most of the opening, I feel like it did start out good. Like, the pacing was alright, but then I realised, oh wait, we've got the island to still go to. Yeah, no, I don't know. The film, it's got its pros, it's obviously got its cons. Maybe there's more cons than pros, and you know, maybe some people are right to sort of give it a lower score because of those negatives alone, and they don't see the positives that we kind of see, but I feel like the sequel has a chance to be good at least. Better than The Cradle of Life at least. I don't think it's going to be a massive hit, this film, in terms of its box office numbers, but I think it has a good enough chance to make another film. It did its task, it set what it was supposed to do. Not extreme mediocre, but it has mediocre elements in it. Like, if you're going to go in the film and expect it to be surprising twist, you're not really going to see that.
You're going to see Sprouts.
I hated that so much. I think we should cut this off before I go into that negativity of Sprout.
Sprout.
What's up, Sprout? Call us something else other than a vegetable. Anyway, guys, just been calm.
And Dan.
Until the next time, goodbye.
Goodbye.
This film overall wasn't like the best origin story I've ever seen.